Now we're going to learn how to create this adorable little owl. I made this upside down from the top to the bottom as part of this wrist warmer, so let me start by flipping it over. And we've got a few new stitches here. First, notice these twists that form the shape of the owl. They're called cable stitches. And then for the plumage section, we've got what's called a seed stitch. I also increased 2 stitches at the beginning of the plumage to make it a little bit fatter there. And then I decreased those stitches at the end of the seed stitch. Now to make the cable stitch, you're going to need a cable needle. Here are some examples of cable needles. These are 2 different kinds that you can find in the store or online. Or you can simply use a small 7-inch double-pointed needle, which is what I use, and which is what I'm going to be using for this project. Now you can knit the owl from either direction. I've included the charts for both options. I'm going to walk you through the upside down one since that might be seen as a bit more difficult by some. I also recommend that you add 1 or 2 edge stitches to each side of the chart so that the main panel will stand out nicely. In my demonstration, I'm going to put 2 edge stitches on each side. So my work will have 14 stitches. That's 10 stitches of the owl pattern and then 2 extra stitches on each side, which will be done in stockinette stitch. Knit on the right side and purl on the wrong side. You can do more if you want, or you can skip that entirely. But again, I like to have a few edge stitches. So here's my 14 stitches that I've cast on, and I have worked 2 rows in knit 1, purl 1 ribbing, simply for this example to give it a nice clean edge. Now I'm going to start by knitting the first 2 edge stitches, and then work row 1 of the chart, which says to purl across 10 stitches. And then finish the row by knitting those last 2 edge stitches. Now on row 2, I'm going to purl the 2 edge stitches and then follow the chart, which says to knit 1, then purl 1, then knit 6, and then purl 1 and knit 1, and now purl the 2 edge stitches. Now on row 3, knit the first 2, and then follow the chart, which says purl 1, knit the next 2, purl the next 4, knit 2, purl 1, and knit the last 2 edge stitches. And notice you can see the pointy tips of the ears taking shape. Now on row 4, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, knit 4, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Now on row 5, knit the first 2, and then follow your chart, which says purl 1. And now we're going to make a left cable twist across the next 4 stitches. So we're going to take our cable needle, or your small double-pointed needle like I have, and drop the first 2 stitches on the left needle onto that separate needle and hold it in the front. And knit the next 2 stitches on the left needle. And now take your second needle, and you can either knit those 2 stitches directly off that needle or drop them back onto the left needle and knit them from there, which is my preference. I just think it's much easier to do. So I'm going to drop those back on the left needle, and I'm going to knit them. And there's your left cable, also called a front cable. Now we're going to do another cable twist with the next 4 stitches. And this one is going to go in the opposite direction. This is going to be a right cable. So we're going to drop the next 2 stitches onto your cable needle and hold it to the back of your work. Knit the next 2 stitches, and then knit the 2 stitches on your cable needle. Or again, you can drop them onto the left needle and knit them from there. And now purl the next stitch, knit the next 2 stitches. Rows 6 through 10 are now worked in the patterns as established. We'll just continue knitting the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. And get your cable needle and make a left cable twist across the next 4 stitches. Row 11 is the same as row 5. We're going to knit 2, purl 1, and then we are going to make a left cable twist across the next 4 stitches with your cable needle. and then a right cable twist on the next 4 stitches. And purl 1 and knit the final 2. So we've just completed the face of the owl. Now on row 12, we're going to purl 2 and knit 1, purl 2, and here we're going to start our seed stitch for the plumage. So seed stitch is where we knit 1, purl 1, and knit 1, purl 1. Now purl 2 more, knit 1, purl 2. Now on row 13, knit the first 2, purl 1, knit 2, and the next 4 stitches we do our seed stitch. There they are, those 4 stitches. And with seed stitch, remember, you do the opposite of what you see. So this first stitch is knitted, we're going to purl it. The next stitch is purled, we're going to knit it, purl, knit. Now knit the next 2, purl 1, knit 2. And you can see your seed stitch taking shape for the plumage. Now row 14, we're going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, and now we're going to increase 2 stitches. We're going to increase 1 stitch on each side of the seed stitch, just to make it a wee bit fatter around the belly. And we're going to do that by yarning over. So just do a simple yarn over. And now work on the next 4 stitches in seed stitch as established. So the next stitch has been purled. We're going to knit it. Remember, we do the opposite of what you see. So this purl stitch becomes a knit stitch. The knit stitch becomes a purl stitch. Knit, purl, and increase with a yarn over. Purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Row 15, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. Now we come to the yarn over increase. Now what do? Do we knit it or do we purl it? Well, the next stitch over will tell us that. The next stitch was a knit stitch. It's going to be a purl stitch, which means this stitch should be a knit stitch. So we're going to knit it, and remember we need to knit it in the back, not the front, the back, because we don't want a hole there. Now do the next 4 stitches in seed stitch. That last one was a knit, and so automatically we know that this yarn over is going to need to be purled. And again, we need to purl it in the back because we don't want a hole. And if you have trouble purling from the back, just flip it. Flip that loop, and you can purl in the front. So you now have 6 seed stitches. Knit the next 2, purl 1, knit 2. And there's your seed stitch, coming through nicely. And row 16, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. And work the next 6 stitches on seed stitch. This first one will be purled. The next one will be knitted, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Row 17, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, work 6 stitches of seed stitch. The first one is going to be a knit. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. And I'm just going to show you how it looks upside down, which is technically right side up, and there's your little owl taking shape. So let's purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, work the next 6 stitches in seed stitch, Row 19, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, work seed stitch on the next 6 stitches, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. It's coming along nicely. Row 20, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, and now here's where we want to decrease those extra stitches that we increased. Here we're going to look at the second stitch here. The first is a knit, the next is a purl. We're going to go by the purl, which means we're going to knit these two together. Remember, we're doing the opposite. We want this to be a knit 2 together. Because remember, on the front, it needs to be a purl stitch. Now this stitch is purled, and it's going to be a knit stitch on the other side. And now here again, we're going to decrease, and we're going by that first stitch. That first stitch is a knit stitch. It needs to be purled, and we're going to purl it together with the next stitch to get rid of that extra stitch. Then purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Now row 21, knit 2, purl 1, and now we bring our cable needle back. Now we're going to make a left cable, and we're going to do it a little bit differently than the last time. We're going to take our cable needle, drop the next 2 stitches from the left needle onto the cable needle, hold it in the front, and now we're going to purl the next 2 stitches off the left needle. Not knit, but purl. Now you can knit the 2 stitches from the cable needle. Now we're going to make a right cable, and again we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to drop these 2 stitches onto your cable needle, hold it to the back, knit the next 2 stitches, and now the 2 stitches on the cable needle need to be purled. Not knitted, but purled. And you do that however you want. You can purl them directly off the cable needle, or you can drop them onto the left needle and purl them there, as I did. Then purl the next stitch, knit the last 2 stitches. And now on the last row of the chart, purl 2, knit 12, and purl 2. And that's it. All done. Now, if you want, you can simply continue more inches in either ribbing or stockinette stitch and begin another owl following the right side up pattern. And then you fold the two sides together, sew up the seams, and you'll have a nice little smartphone case. You can add a closure at the top using a little piece of Velcro. You can add a wristband using knitted cord from our first class. And now to make the eyes on the owl, you can either find a couple of little black buttons and sew them on, or you can take some black yarn, like what I have here, and simply make a knot right where the eye should be. So the eye's going to go right there. And I'm going to take my yarn and just tie a simple knot. And then I'm going to pull that through the stitch where I think the eye should go. So there's the first eye. Now over in the next spot, pull the yarn through and just loop the yarn to make a knot, like so. Now I just need to pull that other thread through the other stitch. And there's your eyes.